Okay, it's the 17th of July. It's a Thursday, and we've got about 25 minutes to the NY Open. Let's go to the charts. Just give me a second. Just a second. Yeah. All right, let's start with the calendar. So today we've got retail sales today, 8:30 a.m. EST. It's 7:35, almost 7:40 a.m. EST right now. So we've got about a little over 50 minutes for analysis. Okay, so we don't need to rush. We can take our time. Retail sales. That's the only important news event today. It's as important as PPI, right? I would say it's as important as PPI. Obviously, CPI and NFP are a lot more important news events, but retail sales is as important as PPI, right? Tomorrow there is nothing. Next week, nothing next week. Nothing. No news next week. These are not important. This is not going to do anything to price, right? This is nothing. This doesn't mean anything. And the last week of the month, is also the first week of the month. Strange. It's on the first. Usually, the last week of the month, though that is the 1st of August on Friday, they usually push NFP to the following week. But it's the last week and the first week, not it's not all. It's the last week, and it's the last week of the month plus the first week of August, because NFP Friday is considered the first week of the month, right? So that the week NFP is on is considered the first week of the month. So yeah. So next week, the following week is this week, not next week. The following week we have NFP week. Other than NFP, there is nothing else. It's also the last week. So you might not have a lot of volume, and then on NFP you might suddenly have a lot of volume, right? Keep that in mind. You might not have a lot of volume throughout the week, but on NFP you might have a lot of volume. But that's a couple of weeks from now. We don't need to discuss that right now. So today we've got retail sales. Let's go to the high time frame charts. Let's look at the weekly. Let's see what's happening on the weekly. We are pushing down from this red zone, right? It's a clear push down. We broke above the high, right? We broke above the previous high, and now we are pushing down. Let's see how the daily candle closed yesterday. Yeah, it rejected, broke above the high, previous weekly high, and rejected. Very important. Just a second. Let me take a look at that again here. Yeah, we're coming down. We're coming down. Let's take a look at the 4-hour. Yeah, we're very likely coming down. We broke above, just a second. We broke above the high, the previous weekly high. We rejected, daily candle rejected, and we're pushing down. We came here twice before to this candle, this rally-based rally, right? We've come there twice. Yesterday we broke the low and we came lower, then we pushed back all the way up and broke the high, the weekly high, and closed back below and pushing down. This candle is very likely to push through, break these lows and come through. And if we do that, we would very likely come to 3,300. Back down to 3,300, which is about 240 pips away. Yeah, we should first come here to these wicks that you see here, where daily demand is, drop, base, rally, right? Two candles moving out of the zone. And that's exactly where these wicks are, right? These wicks are. So we should be coming there. First, that's about 100 pips, 110 pips away. And then if there is more bearish volume, we're coming to 3,300, right? And even possibly even further down if there is even more volume, right? So I'm going to keep that in mind when we look at the lower time frames and we look for trades today. Right, let's go to our trading chart. Let me know if the sound is good, if everything is clear. All right. Now, before we draw zones today, I always do a recap of either a trade that I took during the streams yesterday or any ideas that I shared for later on. We took sells during the streams and they played out. Price came to the TP levels. So if you were in the streams, the reason these sells were taken, let me just do a quick recap of this. Okay, thanks, Philip. The quick recap of this is the 30-minute candle. This is the NY open. This is a 30-minute bearish candle, touched this 3340.41. I had put this level as soon as the session started, 3340.41. That's an old weekly low. We tapped it and we closed below the London low. That's the London low, and we formed 30-minute resistance, right? Next candle broke the low. We drew the fib. Price pulled up. I had taken entries here. I closed them as price went deeper because I hate drawdown. And I entered some positions here at sniper level and then just a little under, right? And price came down to TP1, TP2. It didn't get to TP3. I said when price comes down, I'd said right at the beginning of the stream, I said, watch this area. The previous daily candle, the current daily candle low. This was a current daily candle low. I said, watch that area. There is no bottom wick. At that point, there was no bottom wick on the daily candle. So I said, watch that area. Price could come down, create a bottom wick, and push right through. Right? I said that in the first 5 minutes of the stream yesterday. You can go watch that, and that's exactly what price did. Came down, pushed down, and there was some news as well. It wasn't data-driven news. It was something about Jerome Powell being fired. He hasn't been fired yet, but there's some talks about that, and that could possibly that is seen as uncertainty in the markets. So price first came to a technical level, like the news came out somewhere here, and that just continued to push price up, right? We pushed another 400 pips from that point. This was when the news came out. IC markets, our time, I think about 1800 hours on IC markets server time. This was the first push up from after we grabbed liquidity. This is a liquidity candle right here. Price tapped it. It went through the first one, came to the second one, grabbed liquidity, pushed up, created 30-minute support. There was no pullback to take buys because news came out about Jerome Powell possibly being fired by Trump. Price broke the high, continued higher, right? 400 pips up. Okay. Now we're pushing down. We went through this liquidity candle. We came up here, came to 3367. We clearly rejected 3367. We are pushing down now. Okay. So we're very likely coming down, as I said, on the daily. We could be coming here to these wicks here, which is the close of this candle right here, around 3313, and then possibly even to 3300. Okay. Right. Let's get rid of all of these and start with today's zones. Okay. Good enough. All right, let's start. We have a clean push up here and then a push down, a huge rejection here. It's a massive liquidity grab, 223 pip wick to push down, and we formed 4 resistance. So there is supply there. We'll have to look at the lower time frame to look at the supply because there is a massive wick there, right? So obviously that's not visible on the high time frame. So let's look at the 30-minute time frame. It also went across this level 3367, so we have to look at the lower time frame. And even on the lower time frame, because of the quick move up and down, there is no base in candle registered here. So let's take it as this as the base. Okay, let's take that as the base for now. Yeah. Then, yeah, maybe we'll take this. Yeah. There's a base, there's a drop, a base, and a drop here as well. Let's take a look at that on the 1 hour time frame because price has crossed a psychological round number. When it does so, we always have to look at the lower time frames. Possibly there, drop, base, drop. Let's take a look at that on 30-minute time frame. Yeah. Rally, base, drop. Yeah. Yeah. Little tough. Little tough. Okay. I'm going to use this as the base, right? A drop, which is visible on the 30-minute time frame, base in candles, and this is the drop, right? Seems to be the largest candle from these candles coming down. This one is the largest one. So that's the leg out. All of these are base in candles right up to this. This too is a base in candle. And that's the leg in. The red color, the bearish candle coming here down is the leg in. And all of these are base in candles, and that's the leg out. Okay, let's do that. So the open is 355 and the high is 746. Okay, here might just have to look at the 15-minute. I don't usually do this. Yeah, I never do this, but because price was so quick to go up and come down, it didn't register a base on the 30-minute or the 1 hour time frame. So we're compelled to do this, and this is completely news driven, right? This was a completely, it's not a data news driven event. It's just it's some speculation. It's price pushed up. Yeah, we have to do this on the 50-minute. I usually never go down to the 50-minute to draw zones. This close, this is one of those rare situations, 046. And this high is 753. So this rally, the green candle, the push up, that's a leg in. Base is this candle that has a lot more collective wick than body, and this is the leg out. And then it comes down, and then there is that's the drop, and then there are base in candles. Let's look at on the 15-minute time frame. That's a drop. All of these are base in candles, and the push down, and price tapped it. You can see on the way up to push down. Does that make sense? All right. M30 supply and H1 supply. Sorry, H4 supply. All right, that's supply, right? And we can move this up so we don't overlap it. This high is 753, 783. Yeah, we've covered about 600. That's plenty. That's good enough. Let's extend this liquidity candle to the right as well. Okay, done. We're going to take a look at those zones later for high liquidity candles and high liquidity zones. Let's look at demand. We have a demand zone here. We also have a push up here. We have a drop and a rally. So there has to be a zone there. Let's start with that. What's this low? It's 972. It's lower than this. Yeah, it's lower than this. Start with this. Let's go to the 1 hour time frame. There's a drop, a rally. Let's look at the 30-minute time frame to find that base. There we go. That's the base. Perfect. Drop, base, rally. Drop, base, rally. And the open is 688 and the low is 972. Now, let's see what this is a reaction to. 30-minute time frame. Yeah, it's a reaction to this. This is the source. Yeah, a rally, base in candles and a rally. This big candle, this leg out that pushed above these highs and pushed above 3332 weekly SR level. That's the leg out. This would be the leg in, and these four candles would be the base. So that's the source of supply. That's the source of demand. This is the first reaction. This is the second reaction. So we came. This is the first reaction. We formed demand and pushed up. Second reaction formed demand, pushed up. And this is the third reaction. This is the third time price is coming to this. It's very likely going to go through, right? Keep that in mind. Because price has tested that source of demand several times. This is the third time. Let's see if you get a reaction, push up, and then come down. All right, let's extend these to the right. What's this? 968. This low is 972. Oh, that's fine. Now, if you remember, before I deleted all of these zones, if you guys remember, there were high liquidity candles here, right? If you remember, there were high liquidity candles here. If you watched yesterday's stream, or if you were here at the beginning of the stream, there were high liquidity candles here that I deleted right at the beginning of the stream. I've always said this. When high liquidity candles are stacked one above the other, either on the supply side or on the demand side. When there's a lot of volume, price is very likely to go through them, right? If one is stacked above the other, it's very likely to go through them if there's a lot of volume. And what are high volume times? NY session, NY open, NYSE open, those are high volume hours, right? And that's exactly what happened. Price is stacked, the high liquidity candles were stacked one above the other and price went through it. The reason price goes through it is because when they're stacked one above the other, price has very likely tapped them on the way down. And we saw this yesterday. If you watched the first 10 minutes of yesterday's stream or 10-15 minutes of yesterday's stream, I explained this concept again. When if liquidity candles are stacked one above the other, when price is moving down, they're very likely tapped and moving down, which means the liquidity and those levels in those zones are less, right, than before. They're less. So that is why when price goes through them, it can easily push through them, right? Keep that in mind when price is coming down. You can see that the liquidity candles, these two are stacked one above the other, right? So if price goes through one, it's very likely it can go through the other as well. Yeah, we need to extend this as well. Price could come down today or maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. We could close strong weekly bearish candle tomorrow. Let's see. It's a long time for the weekly candle to close. Tomorrow, we'll do the weekly candle prediction tomorrow. By God's grace, we'll do the weekly candle prediction tomorrow. Yeah, to see if the candle is going to. That's got a lot of time for that. We don't need to concern ourselves with that today. All right, so these are the zones. That is on the 1 hour. Let's make that a 1 hour zone. Visible on the 1 hour, drop and a rally. On the 4 hours, it's visible. Yeah. Okay. All right, next step. We have two new supply zones, a 30-minute supply here. There's a 4-hour supply here. There is a 4-hour demand here. We also have to take a look at this area. Price has crossed a weekly SR level. Let's go to the lower time frame quickly. Yeah, price is tapping there. We'll have to look for a possible zone. There is a zone there. Yes. Whenever price crosses a psychological round number or a big round number like this or a weekly SR level, these weekly SR levels are mapped out here. You can always take a screenshot and maybe see if you want to use them in your trading. If you don't feel they're important, then you can ignore them. So price crossed a weekly SR level here. Let's take a look at, let's mark this zone. Yeah, that's good. This high 653 and the open 021. 653021. Now keep in mind EMAs have crossed, right? Price is below the EMAs. We are about 120 pips below the EMAs, right? We are pushing down. Okay, now let's take a look at these zones and see if they are high liquidity zones. We have one new demand zone and 3 supply zones here, right? Let's start with this demand. Is it a high liquidity zone? Yes, obviously price pushed up. This big push up took out those highs. There's supply there on the 1 hour. It's very clear. Rally, base, drop. There is a drop here, price took out that, and even this rally based drop as well, right? So that is a high liquidity zone. But just because it's a high liquidity zone, that doesn't mean price needs to respect it and push up, right? It all depends on liquidity. Is there enough liquidity here for price to push up? If there isn't, price is coming below. If there is enough liquidity here for price to push up, then price will push up from here. If there's not enough liquidity, price will go to the next. If there's enough liquidity here, price will push up. If there isn't, price will go to the next liquidity level. Price will move from, price will move from liquidity to liquidity, right? That's all it does every day. It'll move from liquidity to liquidity level until it finds liquidity to go in the opposite direction. All right, let's take a look at this 30-minute supply. Has it taken out any opposing demand? On the left here, it hasn't taken out these lows. Yeah, no, it hasn't. So this is not a high liquidity zone. But there's a weekly SR level. There could be a high liquidity candle in there. All right, let's take a look at this one. On the 1 hour time frame, has it taken out anything to the left? There is a drop and a rally here. Yes, these lows, this low was taken out by this push down. This is a high liquidity candle. Right, there is a drop and a rally. If you look at the 15-minute time frame, also you see that there is a low, a drop, and a rally, and these lows were taken out by this candle right here that came down from this zone. Right, I don't look at the 50-minute time frame, but on the 30-minute time frame, it's clear. You can see the low here that was taken out by this push down. Okay, this zone here on the 1 hour, did it take out anything? There's nothing on the 1 hour, 30-minute. Nothing. Not really. It's not taken out anything. There is no. I don't want to look at go to the 15-minute for that. No. It's not a high liquidity zone. You don't need to mark that. All right. Okay. Okay. Done. This is the NY opens. We still have about 20, how much? 25 minutes to the to news. So we're going to wait for news. All right. Next step. We're going to look at see here where current price is in this demand zone, 4-hour demand zone. See if you have a high liquidity candle here to push price back up. Let's start on the 1 hour time frame. We have a rejection wick here, a liquidity wick. It grabbed liquidity from this zone below. Let's start with that. Let's look at the 30-minute time frame. Nothing on the 30, it's this big candle. On the 15, yeah, really not much. There's no liquidity here, except for this wick here. Yeah, we're very likely going to go through this, but we'll mark it anyway. 604,972. Let's take a look at the 5-minute as well. Yeah, nothing on the 5-minute, nothing on the 15 either, just this wick. But we'll mark it 604,972. Okay, let's take a look at this zone here. Do we have a high liquidity candle there? Also, one second, I want to. Yeah, we're very likely going to come through this, just about 20, 25, 29 pips more. Yeah, 26 pips more. We're going to come to the bottom of this. very likely. Might get a push up and then come down. Let's take a look at this on the 30-minute time frame. There's nothing on the 1 hour, 30-minute time frame. There's this big candle here. That's a good place to start. So the 15-minute time frame. Yeah, that candle right there. Let's look at the 5-minute. Nothing on the 5-minute, just the 15. So it's this candle here, 992176. And let's look at this one. On the 1 hour time frame, I would pay attention to this wick. This is a liquidity grab, 333 pips, 33 from here. Let's go to the 30-minute time frame. There you go, that's that candle. That's a great place to start. 15-minute. I'm basically looking for the largest candle in this zone or left of it, right? In the zone or left of it. Let's look at the 5-minute time frame. I think we're going to go down to the 1 minute here. Yeah. We've seen that many times before. When there is such like some really volatile news or NFP, that happens. That's a 1 minute. That's the candle. That's a liquidity candle right there for this zone here. So 164034. 64. Okay. Zone above the wick, 30 minutes. I would start with the wick because whenever there is a huge wick from a liquidity zone or a liquidity level from any one of these 5, right? There's a massive wick like this, that's a liquidity grab. And we've got to mark that out. Let's get the 15-minute. That candle, let's look at the 5-minute. Let's look at the 1 minute. Nothing on the 1 minute. $89, 36. Yeah, we'll go with the 5-minute candle there. Yeah. So what's this high? 60.34, 088. Okay, done. See, liquidity candles stacked one above the other. Okay, done. That's it. That's the analysis. We still have about 20 minutes to news. Okay, now, next step. We're going to take a look at what price has done in the Asian and London sessions, right? So let's go to the 15-minute time frame. Any questions, please post Any questions with regard to trading? I mean, with regard to whatever we've analyzed here, right? Not anything personal, but any questions with regard to any technical explanations I've done so far with the analysis, and then later on what I'll do with the setups. You can always post a message on the chat and I'll answer. Um, all right, 15-minute time frame. Let's see where the market opened. Here, that's the market open right there. 33.49, right? We opened at this psychological round number. Okay, let's look for the Asian highs and lows. Just a second. All right, so market open. It's a little tough today because prices very slowly moved down and retraced that entire move up. This big push up, that was a liquidity grab. Price pushed up to grab liquidity, 3367, and then retraced the entire move down very slowly. The London high. It's 19. So big a swing high. Yeah, this is the high. They're the same price. $478. Yeah. Asian high and London high at the same price. Okay. This is high. 479. 640. 516. All right, let's take a closer look at, we've got 15 minutes of news, so let's take a closer look at what price has done in the Asian and London today. So the market opened here. It opened inside the liquidity candle and at a liquidity level. So we were bearish because obviously, price is going to push down. It's open inside the liquidity candle and at a psychological round number, which is also a liquidity level. And price was coming down anyway, right? And the second half of the NY session, we were pushing down. Then we pushed back up. We created this liquidity candle, pushed back up, came down, we were coming down, and the market opened, and then continued to push down outside of the liquidity candle. We pushed back in, created the Asian high, formed 30-minute resistance there, pushed down outside of the liquidity candle, created the Asian low. So we moved about 85 pips at the open, Asian session open, and then in the London session we've moved about 193 pips, so almost double that volume. So there was decent volume in the London session. We came back up, rejected the Asian high. This is a great trade to take in the London session. This is in fact the Frankfurt open. 30-minute resistance formed. Yeah, perfect. We rejected the Asian high and 30-minute resistance form in the liquidity candle. Perfect trade to take to come down. First here and then to the liquidity candle. First to 3332 and then to the liquidity candle. Price created the London high, the swing high, came straight to the Asian low, closed at it, closed above, closed back below, came down, tapped 332, pushed back up to the Asian low. We created a liquidity candle on the way down, pushed back up into that liquidity candle, came back down past 332, straight down to this liquidity candle here, right, that we identified, tapped it, created the London low, pushed back up, tapped 3332 and the liquidity candle. We did that twice, came down, went back up again, came down. We've just been ranging here, and now we've closed below. 30-minute, yeah, 30-minute candle has closed below the London low, but I can't take sells here because this is demand. Can't take sells down here. We have to wait for price to go through or pull back up to take sells to continue. Okay, I hope that's clear. We got to wait for price. I have to wait. You can do whatever you want, but I have to wait for price to push down, take out these zones, and then pull back up, form resistance to go down, or price to pull back up now, form resistance, 30-minute resistance to push down, right? That's the two things that I'm waiting to see. I hope that's clear. Any questions I can answer on the setup that I'm waiting for. We've got about 11 minutes. I don't think you're going to get a huge push. I may be wrong, but I don't think you're going to get a huge push with retail sales data. I think volumes are going to come in after. Yeah, let's just take a closer look at this 30-minute. We tapped here, broke the low. This candle came, dipped in, pushed down. Just a second. Yeah, there is no. Yeah, that's the old weekly low. That's far away. That's far away. Now, I don't want to take buys either. I don't want to take buys. Yeah, because we are bearish. Let's look at the weekly is pushing down. Daily is pushing down. 4 is pushing down. Yeah, I don't want to take buys. There is liquidity under this. Under these lows are liquidity, right? As you can see here, under these lows is a liquidity candle. So I don't want to take buys here. We could very likely dip into this and push up, right? So I don't want to take buys here. I'm not going to take any buys here. Makes no sense. I said this at the beginning. This is the third time price is coming to this demand, right? This was the source. On the one eye, it's clear. That was the source. Rally, 4 basin candles and a rally. This is the first time, second time, third time. So I don't want to take any buys here because there is liquidity under these two lows, which is this liquidity candle. If we dip into that, create 30-minute support, maybe I'll take buys to go up. Maybe if you come here and form support, 30-minute support. But the weekly, daily 4 is all bearish, so it really doesn't make sense to look for buys here. Further down, maybe. What I'm interested is in sells. We've closed below the London low, so maybe a pullback. There's no top wick here, so price is very likely going to push past this high, this candle high right here. This candle is going to go up, and yeah, maybe uh, maybe it's going to come back to this liquidity candle. This is it tapped it in the formed in the Asian session, no, London session, tapped it in the London session twice, once, twice. Yeah, there is no top wick. We're coming up here. We're pushing up another 50 pips. It's no top wick. So we're very likely coming to the liquidity candle again. So let's see. Once it comes to the liquidity candle, if it gets deeper, maybe to the second EMA, that's around this area, I'd like to take sells to come down. There's a lot more profit potential. If you get sells up here, we could come down all the way down here. It's 170 or 180 pips, and then even further down, all the way down here, 300 pip move down. If we come deep inside here, yeah, we are very likely coming up all the way up here, right? Another 35 pips to go. So we're going to wait 7 minutes for news. I'll be back in a few minutes. If you have any questions, you can post it in the chat, and then I'll answer them when I get back. So I've explained clearly what I'm waiting for, right? Buys from down here, not here. Buys from down here. Um, Unless price pushes all the way up, then we can look for a pullback and take buys around this area. But I don't think that's going to happen right now. It could happen later on, but not in the next hour. So buys from down here, this area or further down, not from this zone, and sells from either here or even higher, right? Sells from ideally here, this area sells somewhere here. Okay. Sorry. Let's take a look at the 30-minute time frame. Let's see what's happening. 30-minute time frame. We closed bearish below, but bullish candle. We're forming. I'm trying to close back above. We're very likely going to close above from the liquidity candle. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. I don't want to take buys here because the buys are very likely going to be short-lived, but we could get buys. Yeah, I don't want to take buys. I don't want to take the buys. Yeah. Yeah. Even if there is a setup, I'm not going to take buys, and I've explained why. Um, yeah. If you take here, it's about 60. Yeah, it's not worth it. Even if you get a pullback here, it's 60 pips, 65 pips to this. It's really not worth it. If you get sells from up here, it could drop. You could hold to the end of this liquidity candle, 160, and then further down. What numbers are they expecting? 0.3. They're expecting good numbers. It was bad numbers. They're expecting good. It was negative news. Core CPI was negative. PPI was negative. Retail sales also could be negative, which means price could push up. Yeah, could push up. Okay, 40 seconds for news. Yeah, I'm not placing any entries for news. Just we're going to wait because I'm not really keen on the buys here from this zone. There's even if price pulls back here to get entry here, it's not a lot of movement. It's not a lot of profit potential. Sells have a much better profit potential. News is now. 10 seconds. 10 seconds for news. Coming down. Big push down. Ooh, push down. Could be pushing up. This is just taking a buy here. I'm taking a buy. Taking a buy. Yeah, I'm just taking a buy. Stop loss under this. Stop loss under this. Ooh, close it. Close it, close it, close it, close it, close it. Nah, shouldn't have taken that buy. Price dipped in. I was anticipating to push up. Yeah. Okay, we've gone through this liquidity candle. Shouldn't have taken those buys. Created support. And price dipped in. I thought it'll respect the low and push up here. Okay. Coming down. We've cleared that. Coming down. Now you have to wait. Just took a very few buys there. I quickly closed it once you broke this low. I was anticipating price to respect this low and push up because 30-minute support formed and closed above the London low, anticipating price to push up, but as expected, it came below these lows, as I should have known better. We'll have to wait now. Got to wait for the 30-minute candle to close to see where this candle is going to close, and then maybe even for the next 30-minute candle to close. The numbers were good. Numbers were good. So that's probably the initial push down. Numbers were good. Yeah, it was about 40, 50 pips on those positions. That's okay. 50 pips is my limit. 50 pips, 60 pips, I'm okay with. That's the limit. 50, 60 pips. Now we have to wait for this candle to close. It's a long time. 26 minutes for the candle to close. Plenty of time. Yeah, to wait. We're coming down. We're very likely going to come through this one, this entire candle, and then this one as well, and coming further down. We need, what I'm looking for is a pullback, 30-minute resistance, and a trade to come down. Price is also over 200 pips away from the EMAs, so we'll wait for this candle to close, see how far price is from the EMAs, and then maybe you don't need 30-minute resistance, you can wait for 15-minute resistance, right? This is what I'll be looking for. If price is at the close of this 30-minute candle, at the close of the 30-minute candle, this current 30-minute candle, at the close of this candle, if price is over 200, if it's more than 200 pips away from the EMAs, then I'll be looking for a pullback, 15-minute resistance, and a trade to come down, right? So we'll wait for the candle to close, 25 minutes. That's a lot of time. We'll have to wait for, because at the close, it's got to be 200 pips. Right now, we're like 150, right? The candle is still open. You've got to wait for this candle to close. We're very likely going to come back up. There's going to be a sell today, but not now. Later on, there's going to be a sell. Either this candle will come up and break its own high because there is no top wick in this candle. It's because the 1-minute candle opened. This is 15:30 IC market server time. Look at that. The candle opened and dropped. Single drop, just dropped straight away 116 pips. Straight away, 116 pips, straight off the bat. So that's the candle open. This is the previous candle close. This is the candle open. So it's very likely that we're going to come up and create a high. But I'm not going to try to take any buys here. I need a high time frame confirmation, which means I need a 30-minute time frame. As a session trader, I'm looking for 30-minute candles to confirm a trade. So price is very likely coming up, going to create, going to break above this high, come further up, and then maybe we get a trade to come down. And then we've gone through this level, we're very likely going to go through. If we take a sell from up here, wherever we form resistance, we can take a trade to come all the way down here. It's about a 180 to 200 pip drop, even through this. Yeah, and down here, 240 pips. That's what I'm going to be waiting for. And until that happens, until I see that printed, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything on the chart until I see that sell setup printed. That's the only thing I'm looking for and waiting for today. Wait for this candle to close, and then let's see how far it closes away from the EMAs. Depending on that, we will decide if it's going to be 30-minute resistance or 15-minute resistance to take the sells to come down. Okay? We're pushing down. Gonna come through this. That's fine. The further down it goes, the better. Pull back. We're creating a new low in the NY session. That's great. So you want to see that pullback. Take the trade to come down. Hmm. Yeah, this was the this candle tapped the liquidity candle. This one close to broke the low. Yeah, this was the opportunity. As high as 243, low 476. $860, this high is 857. Yeah, we came there to the optimal entry. Just short of it, pushed down. Let's see. It's got 16 minutes more for the candle to close. I'll be back in a bit. There's plenty of time. I'm waiting. I've explained the trade idea that I'm planning to take for today. There will be a trade today. It's just there should be sells today. It's just take some time. We're averaging about 450 pips a day. We've done about 390 pips already, right? So we still have some move left, a bearish move left. We just need a pullback to take those sells to come down, and that's what I'm waiting for. Okay, I'll be back in a few minutes. Yeah, price is very bearish, pushing down. Where are we coming to on the weekly? We rejected the previous weekly high. Yeah, we're heading towards 3,300. There's nothing in between. Yeah, coming there, another 125 pips. I'm waiting for the pullback. That's it. That's all I'm waiting for. Waiting for a pullback. Hmm. I think it's going to take a while for these cells to play out. Yeah. Um, I think very possibly with the new 4 candle open. It's an hour move. Yeah. We should come and break this low. Should come and break this low pretty easily. 20 pips more. Coming all the way down here. 3,300. We'll have to wait for prices coming down. There's nothing to do. I'm not going to sell here because the move has already happened. The move was up here. This is where the entry was. I've drawn the fib. That's where the entry was, if at all, to take an entry. But I wouldn't have taken that because it was way before it happened, a lot before. Towards it happened in almost in the London session. So we're trading NY. So I don't consider those setups. Even though they might work, I want to see something happen pre-NY or NY session or setup for me to take the trade. So there's nothing right now, but there will be one. You just have to wait patiently, sit on your hands and wait patiently for price to pull back, create resistance, and then come down. You just need to, we have to see where the candle will close to know if you're waiting for 15-minute resistance or 30-minute resistance, and that's it. Yeah. So far, if you close like this, then we're waiting for 15-minute resistance. Price to push up, create 15-minute resistance, and push back down. Um, and what I would do is I would wait for the 4-hour candle to close now. Yeah, yeah. I would wait for the 4-hour candle to close and draw this zone. Draw this zone because we've come past a weekly SR level, tapped it. So there's a zone there, is a drop, a base, and a drop here. This candle should close like this, bearish. So there's a drop, base, drop. I would draw a zone here, wait for the pullback to the liquidity candle in that zone to take the trade down. This would be the liquidity candle, 109 pips. This one, this one. Yeah, could come up here. Yeah, yeah, we've gone past this. We can delete this one. What's this low? 997. Yeah, we can delete this. Yeah, we've gone past it. If you react, we're reacting to the one below now. We've tapped this one. Yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. Waiting for the 4-hour candle to close, which is in about an hour, 5 minutes from now. Yeah, 1 hour, 5 minutes. Wait for the 4-hour candle to close, and then look for the pullback. Draw the zone based on the 1 hour time frame. Drop, base, drop. This candle, first we'll wait for this candle to close. Wait for the candle to close and then draw the zone. And then that's the area to take this, wait for the sells to come down. Yeah. Yeah. All I'm going to do is extend this zone here. So drop, all of these are basin candles. They become basin candles because they're all stuck in a range, and then this leg out. 4 minutes for this candle to close. We're closing bearish. This would be the leg out. These would all be basin candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 basin candles. And that would be the leg in. Drop, base, drop. And the reason I'm drawing it on the 30-minute or the 1 hour time frame is because we've crossed a weekly SR level. And then we can readjust the liquidity candle. Maybe bring it down to the 1 hour time frame. Yeah. 30-minute down here. 124. Ooh. Got that. $82 pips. Yeah, this might be the liquidity candle. 15-minute time frame. This one right here. So price could come up there. Let's see. Wait for the candle to close. 2.5 minutes more. Pushing through. Whenever liquidity candles are stacked above one another in a high volume session, especially if there is a news event, we could very likely go through them. That's what's happening now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to end the session in a bit, end the streams in a bit, because there's not going to be a setup for the next at least 30 minutes to an hour, probably another hour. There's not going to be a setup because this candle is closing bearish. The next one could continue lower. Then one after that could pull back. So for the next hour, there's not going to be anything. So it makes no sense to just sit here. I'm going to come back to the charts in an hour. I'm going to give out the trade idea here. We'll wait for the candle to close and then give out the trade idea. Okay, 1 hour candle closed, created a drop, base, 4 basin candles and a drop. So what we're going to do is bring this down here to this open 428, close 427. Okay, and the liquidity candle, if we look left, so that's 127 pips, smaller. '81, also '81. '816. Yeah, it's that one right there. Maybe we should keep this on the 30-minute time frame, I think. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I'm waiting for 30. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Let me just explain this. This high is 482, 203, 482, 203. Okay, so what I've done is when the 1 hour candle closed, because we crossed a psychological, weekly SR level, we've drawn it a drop, base, drop, right? But I've done that on the 30-minute time frame to include these two candles as well, because that's also drop, base, drop at this weekly SR level, and then a continuation of a drop and base in candles and a drop, right? Now, if you look left of that, on the 30-minute time frame, this is the largest candle. There's nothing inside the zone except for that one, but if you look left of that, this candle is bigger. So that would be the liquidity candle. That's the second point. Third point is price has closed less than 200 pips away from the EMA. It's about 195, under 200, right? So I'm going to wait for price to push up, create 30-minute resistance, and then look for sells to come down, not 15 minutes, right? We've closed around there to that, just under 200 pips, 198. So I'm going to wait for 30-minute resistance, right? Price to push up, create 30-minute resistance, and to come down to retest this low. That's what I'm waiting for. Second, what is this candle here? This is low. 22.38. This is 22.28. Tapped the low. This broke the low and the high. This one broke the low. Yeah, in fact, here's what could do. This candle is in the liquidity candle. This one broke the low, closed, formed resistance, came down. Yeah. If we come to the sniper level, I'd look to take a trade to come down. Let me draw this fib properly. $857, low 981. Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. Price to come up here. Safer stop loss is always above the liquidity candle high. I will draw some zones here to manage risk if you're taking this trade. Six. Da, 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 da. Yeah. 33.25. $33.28. Let's take $33.28. Yeah, $33.28 is good. Yeah, $33.28 is fine. 29 is also good. Yeah, 29 is better. Yeah. So This is the plan. I'm looking for sells to come down. Have you tapped this? What's this low? 981. 981. One second. Let's just look left here. Yeah, we've tapped this. Is this 981? No. Yeah, there is no liquidity here. There is nothing here. The next liquidity is down here. This is the next liquidity candle right here. $118. $56. $51. $54. Yeah, that's good. There's no liquidity here, so we're coming down here. Let's put a TP level there. Yeah, that's what we're heading to, and the next 3,300, 3,304, then 3,300. Okay, we're going to come through this. Now, what's this high? 1050. And this low is 981. Yeah, we've tapped it, right? So here's what I'm expecting. Let me explain why sells. 30-minute, there is a liquidity candle here to the left, right? Because we readjusted the supply zone now based on the 1-hour chart, because we had a strong bearish candle close, right? So now the 1-hour, we've based it on the 1-hour time frame. I've extended it to include that basing candle as well. And if you look left of that zone, this is the largest candle on the 30-minute time frame, right? So price is likely coming there. Price has created resistance close to below the London low. I'm anticipating a pullback to around the sniper level or just above that to take the trade to come down, right? Here's where you want to manage risk, 33.29, right? If you get in here around this level, you can manage risk. It's about 50 pips, okay? And then the safer stop loss is always above this, around this candle high, which is 33, 34.82. 33, 34.82. Okay, that's the safer stop loss. You can manage risk at 33.29 and 33.32 before it heads to your stop loss. Entries around the sniper level, 33.23 or 33.24, around that area for price to push back down and to head here, right? From around here all the way down here. It's about a 200 pip move down, right? And even further. That's the trade I'm waiting for, right? For price to push back up, create resistance, 30-minute resistance or even 50-minute resistance is still fine because we have a candle, a bear candle that has closed, has broken the previous low and closed below. So 15-minute resistance is also absolutely okay. Wait for an entry here to take the trade to come down. These are the levels that you want to. This is the hard stop loss, just above 33, 34, 82, around 33, 35. These are the levels you want to manage risk, 33, 29, 33, 32, right? If you take a trade below here, then you can manage risk at 33, 25 as well. So, okay. But I would manage risk at these two levels, not down here. these two levels to manage risk. Stop loss above 33.3482, so around 33.35. And TP to come down here. First to 33.10, then 33.04, and then 3300, right? 3300, 3304, 3310, and maybe even if there is more bearish volume, we're coming down to 32.89. Okay, that's the idea. I'm going to come back tomorrow and see how it played out. Let's look at the daily time frame quickly. Yeah, we've gone past. We're very bearish. We're coming down. We're coming down to this candle. We've come to these wicks already. We're going to get a pushback here, and then probably a continuation down. These are the wicks that we spoke about right at the beginning of the stream. We spoke about these wicks right at the beginning of the stream. The price will come there. It has come there. We are very likely going to get a rejection, a retracement here, and then a continuation. Wait for the 4-hour candle to close. I'm going to wait for the 45 minutes for the 4-hour candle to close. I'm going to wait for that, and then look for this trade idea that I've just shared. Look for this trade idea that I've just shared. Okay. Ideally, wait for the 4-hour candle to close. Got about 45 minutes. Unless you want to take, what is this? 1 second. What is this high? 31.18. 31.18. Yeah, this is the 4-hour candle high, 31.80. Right, so I've given the stop loss. Risk management levels 33.32, 33.29. Waiting for the pullback. Entries around this area to take the sells to come down. Okay, we're going to come back tomorrow and see if it played out. If you take the sells in this area, make sure you manage risk if price goes against you, right? If it goes deep, you're in heavy drawdown. That's why these levels are there, to manage risk. You can close 30%, 40%, you can close 30% here, 40%, whatever you want, so that price doesn't hit your full stop loss, right? That is the correct way to trade, to manage risk when price goes in drawdown, to not let your full stop loss get hit. Okay, all right. So that's the end of the stream. If these trades work out, I'll post a screenshot in my socials later on today. I think it's going to take at least another 45 minutes probably to play out, 45 minutes to an hour. If it does work out tonight, I'll post a screenshot in my socials, right, on IG and X. All right, that's it for today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. See you guys tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. EST. Take care. Don't overtrade and don't over risk. All right. See you guys tomorrow.